It isn't the sexy work that most people like to talk about. It sounds real cute to set boundaries and say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, I'm gonna say no more often. But the reality is, when you struggle with putting yourself first, it's probably because, welcome back to my channel where I teach high achievers how to land new jobs they love at companies they love. I am Adunola, Adeshola, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking you through how to put yourself first in your career without feeling guilty. And this isn't gonna be just some motivational, well, it will be a little bit motivational, but I'm also gonna give you some practical steps that you can take right now to help you start doing this day by day. And take it from me, I am a recovering people pleaser who used to struggle with saying no at work, in my career, in my personal life, and now I have no problem saying no and say it probably more often than I say yes. And so I know if I can go from being a people pleaser to being able to gracefully and confidently say no when I feel like things are not right for me, then I know that you can definitely do the same with grace and confidence and without feeling guilty. And trust me, once you learn how to do this, it's just gonna free you up and help you be able to live your life on your terms. So let's jump right in, and if you stick around until the end, I'll give you some details on how you can work with me to land an amazing job you'll love on your terms. If you're not familiar, my clients have landed amazing jobs at top companies like Google, Vogue, iHeartMedia, Tiffany & Co., and so many other companies of their choice. And let me tell you, they did it by making their career goals a priority, going after what they want, and putting themselves first with graceful confidence. And so I wanna help you do that as well if you know that's exactly what you need. So stick around to the end to find out how I can help you do that. But for now, let's talk about the practical steps that you can take to start putting yourself first without feeling guilty. Number one, you need to know what you want. It's so hard to put yourself first when you don't even know what should be first. When you don't know what you want, you don't know what you stand for, you don't know what you believe in, you don't know what you're going after, you don't know what your career goals are, you don't know who you want to be. If you don't know any of those things, then you're always going to be led by what other people want for you, what other people want you to do. You got to get clear on what's right for you, what you believe in, what you are looking for in your career, how you want to show up, so that you are able to position yourself from that place rather from the place that just sways and goes with the flow and goes after what other people want for you. Unfortunately, getting clear on what you want, getting clarity is not sexy. Getting clear on what you want requires you to spend some time with yourself. A lot of times people think that clarity comes from other people's ideas and what other people are doing. People think that if they talk to enough people, they'll figure out what they should do with their lives, or they'll figure out how they should be. But in reality, clarity does not come from other people's ideas about what you should do. It comes from what you feel is best for you. Clarity is an inside job. Only you can decide what is right for you. And so you have to be willing to take that time to really think and look inwardly to decide what that looks like for you. That can look like taking inventory of the things you really love to do at work. That could look like doing some research on the jobs that are out there that align with your expertise and noticing what really excites you, what really lights you up. That could look like separating what you think you should be like and really deciding who you really want to be. But it all starts with you. Once you're clear on what you want, whether that be in your job search or just in your career in general, then you want to think about what your boundaries are so that you can learn how to say no. The reason why getting clear on what you want is so important is because it gives you a benchmark that you can start to use when it comes to opportunities that show up in front of you. For instance, in your job search, if you have already decided that you're really interested in this particular type of job that allows you to do some specific type of responsibility, when you're looking at job descriptions, you can easily decide if those job descriptions align with the type of responsibilities and roles that you want, rather than just feeling like you have to apply and make things work. While setting boundaries can feel very cringy, especially if you struggle with putting yourself first or if you're a people pleaser, the reality is putting boundaries on what's right for you and what isn't allows you to go all in on the things that are right right for you without overextending yourself for things that aren't. But I totally get it. When I struggled with saying no, I used to wonder if people were gonna be mad at me if I said no, if they were gonna think I'm unreliable, if they were gonna think that I was a bad employee or a bad friend or a bad person, if they were gonna be so upset that we wouldn't be able to come back and mend our relationship. I used to overthink it so much when it comes to saying no. But the reality is, you have to be able to set your boundaries, and how people react to them is none of your business. So here are a few ways you can start saying no more often in your career and even in your job search. You can say, that no longer works for me. That does not align with my career goals. I am unavailable. I've changed my mind. No. You can just say no. Full sentence, no explanation. Number 3, it's not enough to set boundaries. You have to respect your own boundaries. Let me tell you, this is the hardest piece. It sounds real cute to set boundaries and say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, I'm gonna say no more often. But the reality is, when you struggle with putting yourself first, it's probably because if you even have boundaries, you don't know how to respect your own boundaries. So what does this look like? This looks like saying yes when you've already decided that you should say no. This looks like disappointing yourself in hopes that you don't disappoint someone else. But the truth is, when you're not clear on your boundaries, when you're over here some days, over here the other days, you don't allow other people to respect your boundaries, because people learn from you how to treat you. And so you have to be willing to stand by how you feel and trust yourself to know that the right people, the right managers, the right friends, the right partner, the right all of that will be able to handle your boundaries. And you really have to be able to give them a chance, honestly. The key here is to learn to disappoint other people before you disappoint yourself. At any moment when you start to feel like you're doing the opposite, then that is your alarm clock to let you know that you're stepping out and not respecting your boundaries. One practical step that you can take when it comes to learning to respect your boundaries a little bit more is that instead of just automatically saying yes right away when you're asked about something or when you're thinking about going after something, give yourself a little time to think. It doesn't have to be days on end, and you don't have to use thinking about something as a way to procrastinate, but it does give you time to really allow yourself to make a clear and intentional choice without just saying yes because you're used to saying yes. So saying something like, I'd like to think about that and get back to you by the end of the day, is a really good way to help yourself respect yourself without just overextending yourself. And it gives you a little second to practice your no and think about what is the best way to turn this down if it isn't the right fit for you. The next one is, you want to aim to be kind and not nice, especially as women in the corporate world and in our personal lives. We've been taught that we should be nice girls, nice people. But nice leaves a lot of room for people pleasing. When you're trying to be nice, you don't always respect your boundaries. You sometimes don't even have boundaries. You don't always even know what you want. You're just worried about making sure that people see you as a nice person. But when your aim is to be kind, you can still be clear about what you want and what you don't want. You can still say no and be thoughtful and considerate and polite, but it doesn't allow you to be a walking mat for other people. So when you're considering how is the best way to go about whatever it is that you're going about in your career, in your job search, even when it comes to turning things down, know that you can be kind and still say no. And when you think about it, when it comes to being kind and saying no, you can offer other ways that you can be of help, other solutions that better align with what's right for you. But it doesn't require you, again, to just say yes out of hopes that you don't disappoint other people. The next thing is, you want to get in the habit of asking yourself, does this align with what I desire for myself? It's a very, very weird question to ask yourself, especially if you're used to just doing things for other people out the kindness of your heart. The truth is, when you really are doing something that aligns with you, that is exciting for you, that aligns with who you want to be, where you want to go in your career, that aligns with how you want to feel in your career, it allows you to show up to those things with 100% effort and intention. You're able to over-deliver. You're able to really shine and really show up as that best version of yourself. One, because you know that it aligns with you, and two, because you have the time, because you haven't been overextending yourself, doing all of the other things that you just said yes to that didn't even align with what you wanted for yourself. So really being able to do things that only align with what you want for yourself allows you to show up better in your career and opens you up to more opportunities and more things that again align with what you want for yourself because you showed up and over-delivered in the things that were right for you. But it all starts with getting clear on what's right for you. And so that's why all of these tips matter. It isn't just one or the other. You can't be kind and not nice without even knowing what you really want and what you stand for. You can't respect your boundaries if you don't set them. And you can't know what aligns with you if you don't know what you really want for yourself. And so this goes in terms of your work, day-to-day, your career goals, your job search, and just how you show up ultimately in your life. Implementing these tips takes a lot of practice. Honestly, it took me years to get to a place where I can confidently say no without worrying about what other people might think. And honestly, sometimes I still do worry about what other people would think. But I use the tips that I've shared with you today to help me combat that so that I don't disappoint myself in hopes that I don't disappoint someone else. I worry less about what other people would think and trust that the right people will not really be concerned about my no because they're excited about who I am and what I bring to the table. When you implement these tips and really start to put yourself first, you'll be able to show up for everything you do with confidence and joy because it aligns with what you see for yourself as well. And trust me, we all have a long career ahead of us, and being able to do things that is exciting, that aligns with who you are and what you want for yourself makes the journey so much more worthwhile. So on that note, if you want to work with me to make your career goals a priority and land a new job you'll love that aligns with your goals, your values, and what you see for yourself, then you're going to want to learn more about my Career Defined coaching program where I teach you exactly how to show up as a top candidate and get hired. And in my next video, I'll be talking all about how to find a career you will love. So if you struggle with that, then you are going to want to subscribe and tap the bell so that you do not miss that video when it drops next week. In the meantime, go ahead and like this video and leave a comment. Let me know which one of these tips you found to be the most helpful.